Have you ever looked into her eyes and felt a storm you couldn't name? A sweetness that softened your instincts? A gaze that made you forget the sharpness of your own edge? Brother, this isn't just poetry. It's architecture. There is a depth of understanding that modern man has abandoned, not because it's false, but because it demands too much. Socrates didn't avoid that depth, he stepped into it. What he found wasn't a condemnation of women, but a truth about them, a truth that still echoes in the soul of every man. His warning wasn't born of resentment, but a vision forged in fire. Men are defined by clarity, women emerge through mystery. He didn't speak to reduce women, but to awaken men. Because what is hidden cannot be blindly trusted, and what captivates must first be understood, otherwise, it will consume you. The Athenians laughed. The court condemned him. But Socrates smiled, because he saw the truth. The man who sees only a woman's surface, and not her essence, is like a warrior distracted by the gleam of his enemy's blade, beautiful, but deadly. Socrates taught by asking. Ask yourself. Why does she move through subtle influence? Why is her affection often entwined with intent? Why does her silence speak louder than her words? If you don't ask, you won't see. And if you don't see, you won't serve truth, you'll serve illusion. In the Republic, Socrates defined a just soul, one ruled by reason, not by desire or impulse. But what happens to a man who builds his life around a woman he doesn't understand? He isn't forming a soul, he's constructing a shrine to confusion. Socrates described the tyrant's soul, driven by desire, endlessly craving. How many men wear the mask of logic but secretly chase feminine validation? How many build their empires not for legacy, but for the fleeting approval of a woman who vanishes at the first crack? Understand this. Socrates wasn't warning you about her. He was warning you about yourself. If you don't grasp her nature, she's not your adversary or your salvation. She's your trial. And you must face it, or collapse under the weight of your illusions. You were taught to pursue beauty. But Socrates knew, beauty is the bait. What matters is the intention behind it. And this is where men fail. You chase her shape, not her structure. You crave her touch, not her truth. You don't examine. You surrender. And when you fall, she doesn't catch you, not out of cruelty, but by design. She chooses. She tests. She adapts. But she doesn't construct. That's your role, your burden, and your honor. Socrates said a man must examine his life. That includes your views of women. Your needs. Your vulnerabilities. Your longings. If you don't investigate them, she will. Not to destroy you, but to survive you. Like a river shaping stone, not from hatred, but nature. But are you living by your nature? Socrates lived among men who confused praise for power, image for substance. But he knew, real strength belongs to the man who can't be deceived, especially by what he desires. That's where true power begins. You weren't made to orbit her. You were made to master yourself. Socrates said the unexamined life isn't worth living. But the unexamined desire is even more dangerous. Nowhere is desire more disguised than with women. It mimics love. It imitates fate. But it answers to something older, survival. Selection. Instinct. You call it love. She calls it timing. In Phaedrus, Socrates warned, love without reason descends into madness. Divine, perhaps, but madness all the same. He said, the soul dragged by lust is like a wingless beast, crawling in circles, obsessed with craving. How many men are trapped in that loop? Trading their mission, values, and voice for a glance, a whisper, a temporary fix of belonging. You weren't created to be devoured by the feminine. You were created to comprehend it. Socrates observed, men seek truth. Women seek alignment, not always with truth, but with safety. That's not an insult. It's brilliance. But it must be seen. She doesn't seek what's right. She seeks what endures, certainty, rank, resolve. In her world, intellect doesn't seduce. Command does. But if you give her the crown before securing your own throne, she will never yield. If you place her above your purpose, she will test you until you fracture. She's not cruel. She's responsive. She reflects what you reveal, a negotiable soul. Socrates spoke of the soul's parts, reason, spirit, and appetite. The highest man lets reason lead. But when appetite governs, lust, need, approval, the man loses form. He follows, not her, but the hunger she represents. You've seen these men. The ones who glow only under her gaze. The ones who kneel without knowing why. The ones who abandon their values to keep her near. And you, if you remain unaware, will join them. Socrates lived among men who mistook charm for character, beauty for virtue. He saw through it, and they silenced him for it. But his insight endures, not for the crowd, but for the man who dares to see. He saw that women live anchored in the present, emotion, security, now, while men are cursed and blessed with the future. You reach forward. Your soul seeks purpose. Your frame carries vision. But vision has a price. And the feminine offers a beautiful temptation, to trade it for comfort and illusion. You must resist. Your peace must come from clarity, not her compliance. She will test your frame. She will mirror your weakness. And if you lack inner command, she will command you. Not by intention, but by nature. Socrates didn't teach hate. He taught inquiry. Don't flee what confuses you. Illuminate it. Understand her, not with suspicion, but awareness. She is not your foundation. She is the current. See the difference? You must become a philosopher of your own instincts. Socrates taught, more in silence than in speech, that a man falls not from swords or laws, but from unchecked longing. And no longing haunts men like the feminine unknown. The tragedy isn't that you desire her. It's that you don't know why. And in that blindness, you worship her, and condemn her when she fails to save you. The truth? She was never meant to complete you. She was meant to challenge you. In Gorgias, Socrates destroys the myth that pleasure equals good, that what feels right must be right. He exposes the lie that a woman's approval proves a man's worth. What he revealed is chilling. Your hunger for her praise is not noble. It's the sign of a forgotten mission. You don't need her gaze. You need your spine. Men aren't falling from a lack of ability, but from inner chaos. They know her moods better than their own values. They speak her desires, but forget their own convictions. You think it's love. She thinks you've lost your edge. And she's not wrong. She can't revere what she can direct. She can't desire what she controls. Socrates never phrased it in today's words, but the principle remains: harmony is not sameness. It's alignment. A woman doesn't want to lead. She wants to trust leadership. But if you make her your compass, your mirror, your goal, you surrender your axis and become her orbit. She may keep you, but not because she wants to. Because it's useful. And usefulness always expires. This world is full of men who tried to win her by kneeling. But love isn't earned through worship. It's earned through sovereignty. In Meno, Socrates asked if virtue can be taught. But first, he asked, do men even know what virtue is? Do you? Do you understand masculine virtue before you offer it? Or have you mistaken devotion for discipline, passion for principle, compliance for love? She doesn't want weakness. She doesn't want passivity. She doesn't want performance. She wants authenticity. And the authentic man doesn't orbit the feminine. He orbits the good, the true, the noble, and invites her only if she can harmonize with that rhythm. When she sees you live by principle, not persuasion, when your speech holds precision, your leadership carries direction, and your love flows without losing your core, she will follow. Not because you begged. Because you embodied. That's the paradox Socrates understood. Power does not lie in pursuit. It lives in presence. The moment you stop chasing her approval and begin forging your essence, not your image, you become untouchable. Not from hardness, but from integration. Wholeness is the inheritance men have forgotten. The temples of Athens were not built for ease. They were built for character, carved in stone, forged in trials, whispered through Socratic riddles. Know thyself. Not please her. Not become what she needs. Know. Because in knowing, there is command. And in command, there is peace. Most men today aren't at peace. They are at war, with the lie that her love will heal them, that her touch will stabilize them, that her smile proves their worth. That's not love. That's intoxication. And every philosopher knows, the intoxicated cannot perceive the real. Socrates spoke of the forms, the truths beneath appearances. There is a form of womanhood, as there is of manhood. But modern men chase shadows, the scent, the smile, the curve. And forget to ask. What does it protect? What does it demand? What does it reveal? She is not broken. She is designed. She is not deceptive. She is adaptive. She is not cruel. She is efficient. She's built for survival, not yours, but hers. Her instincts outpace your emotions. Her clarity outpaces your confusion. And when you're lost in longing, she sees it. Your weakness. Socrates never said it plainly. But he implied it. You are ruled by either thought or thirst. There is no third path. The man who surrenders to her without awareness isn't free. He's entangled, smiling, but sinking. And his fate? To curse the tide he never prepared for. But the man who trains his reason, who dissects his hunger, who sees illusion before it traps him, he doesn't sink. He sails. She respects him, not for cruelty, but for clarity. In Symposium, Socrates recalls Diotima, a woman who taught that love is a ladder, from one body, to all beauty, to wisdom, to the divine. Most men never climb. They rot at the base. Lost in longing. Blind to where it pointed. But not you. You rise. She is the riddle, not the answer. She is the gate, not the kingdom. She is the wind. You are the sail. Your power is not in ruling her. It's in transcending the need for her to define you. Let her remain mystery. Let her remain woman. But you, be man. In the Socratic sense, disciplined, defined, unwavering, not moved by flattery, not shattered by silence, not hypnotized by beauty. This is your path. This is your dignity. And dignity is not inherited. It is forged, in solitude, in principle, in the unseen hours. This is where Socrates would have you build. Not in her arms, but in your essence. The man who needs her warmth lacks his own flame. The man who trades principle for presence will fracture. And she will not mend him, not from malice, but instinct. Because even she seeks the man who doesn't need her, but chooses her, eyes open. She is not your mirror. She is not your medicine. You want to be seen. Stand alone. Stand sovereign. Stand true. Socrates said. The shortest and surest way to live with honor is to be what we appear to be. So who are you? You seem strong. Grounded. Desired. Noble. Now become it. Don't chase her attention, cultivate your presence. Don't chase her body, discipline your craving. Don't chase her love, stand in your truth, and let her choose. This is the examined life, not just in mind, but in instinct. Not just in ideas, but in posture. In how you meet temptation, rejection, beauty. That moment, when she pulls back, when she tests you, that is your crucible. And most men break. But not you. You stand. You remain. You respond with reason. You understand, she is not the threat. She is the signal. If her absence unravels you, the crack was always there. If her silence shatters you, it echoes your own. Don't curse her nature. Comprehend it. Respect it. But do not bow to it. She is the wind. You are the mast. Don't resist the wind. Adapt your sail. That is manhood, not dominance, but direction. This is the truth they won't teach you. This is the code Socrates carved into every question, every paradox, every silence. Be unmoved. And when you are unmoved, she will feel it, not with fear, but reverence. And she will know. This man does not waver. And when she knows that, her nature will respond. She will align. Not to submit, but to recognize. Not as surrender, but resonance. Because women don't fall for men. They align with them. They move towards strength, not noise, not need, but presence. Socrates would never have begged for her heart. He would have become the man whose presence made devotion inevitable. Because he knew. What is rooted shapes what flows. And you, man, were not made to chase tides. You were made to shape the shore. The world will say, soften. Submit. Adapt. But your soul was branded with a deeper law. Do not bend, unless it is your will.